Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Right Wing Vegan Pre-Thanksgiving episode. Woo! Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and I hope that you are celebrating with your families tomorrow. I hope that your governors and your chosen states have not locked you down to the point to where it is a crime to spend time with your family. I hope that is not the case. And if it is the case, I'm not going to recommend that you commit a crime, but I'm going to say that family is very important, and you should be safe and follow the CDC guidelines or whatever. But, we love our families, and we should spend time with our families, and governors don't have the right to stop you from doing that. So even if they pass unlawful laws, you will have the last laugh when you inevitably sue them for being charged with something that is unconstitutional. So just keep that in mind. In the interim, I'm going to thank you guys for listening to the show. We're here, we're live, and I think today might be the last day this week that we do an episode. I might do one Friday. It all just honestly depends on my situation. But I may touch base with you guys on Friday. We will see. But there's certainly plenty to talk about to keep us busy today. So let's get into it. Now listen, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. I should be thankful. And I am thankful. I'm thankful that the great Lord has bestowed upon me this life that I live. I'm thankful that I live in the greatest country on earth. I'm thankful that I have the family and friends who I care about and love. I'm thankful that my kill-death ratio in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is fairly high. I'm thankful for that. So there's a lot to be thankful for. I want to try not to be a downer, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be a downer this episode. I know it. I apologize in advance for it. Okay? I'm sorry. But there's just stuff we have to talk about, and some of that stuff is down. So here's this, okay? Sidney Powell is supposed to file her massive, big, scary lawsuit today. That is supposed to happen today. So today, the Kraken is released, or at least revealed. We'll get a good glimpse of the Kraken as it exits the water, and we see what it's all about. Now, that is supposed to happen today. I don't know if it will. She claims that it will. And I'm excited to see it. Very much so, actually. So, there is that. And we'll see what fruit that bears. The legislatures in multiple states are supposedly holding hearings or meetings or whatever. It depends on what source you listen to. The Trump campaign says that these states are going, and I think it's Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Michigan maybe, are going to hold at least meetings to discuss voter fraud in the 2020 election irregularities. The legislators themselves say that no meeting is on the calendar. So I don't take what you will from that. I don't know what to believe there. But it brings up a larger conversation. So at the very least, we've seen evidence of irregularity, widespread irregularity at this point. If you look at Matt Brainerd's information from the Voter Integrity Fund, we've seen data that would suggest voter fraud. There are many people who have registered addresses at UPS stores and at post offices, and they voted. Now, and it's a large amount in the sample size. That would suggest fraud, okay? And it's in multiple counties in Georgia, so that would show widespread fraud. Now, more and more data groups are coming out with numbers that just don't add up or don't make sense. They feel like they've discovered the algorithm. We have all these affidavits. We have all of this stuff. And the left still says, oh, it's not, there's no evidence. Well, obviously there's evidence. So at this point, anyone who tells you there is no evidence is an idiot. They're either willfully ignorant or they're an idiot. And you can respond appropriately on Twitter to these folks. When they say this stuff to you, you can respond appropriately, I think. You can call them an idiot. Because if people choose not to seek this information out, then they're either willfully ignorant or an idiot. We are in a place now where the mainstream media no longer hides anything. They're openly biased. We have government leaders and the media and members of the Hollywood elite suggesting that Trump supporters and Trump backers be added to lists and be outed and doxxed and put into re-education camps and all of this stuff. This is all literally happening. Chris Evans, Captain America himself, the softest, fittest person I've ever seen. He's so fit, but he's so soft. His skin is so pale and soft. It's interesting. He's out there saying that Trump backers should be put into re-education camps. You got Zach Braff. You remember him? You probably don't. You probably don't know who Zach Braff is, so let me tell you. He was in Scrubs. He was the main character in the show Scrubs. It was a funny show. That's Zach Braff. I know, right? You're like, still don't know who that is. Well, go watch Scrubs. It's a good show. But anyway, Zach Braff is suggesting the same thing. I mean, these people are nuts, but they're openly nuts now. They're literally nuts in the open. Then you got shows on HBO, like this I think it's called Transhood show, about kids who are being indoctrinated into trans culture by their parents. It's outright disgusting and sickening. It is child abuse, but that's okay. You got Cuties on Netflix, also child abuse. Okay. This is the world we live in. This is reality. Voter fraud, there's evidence. There's evidence of impropriety, and we just don't care. No one cares. No one cares. So, I'm not sure what all comes of this, and that's what worries me. There are now reports out that the media influenced the election. Had the media reported on the Hunter Biden story, there's 9% of voters who voted for Biden who say they probably wouldn't have voted for Biden if they knew that information. That is election changing. That would have shifted the winds of the election. Now, I think Trump won the election anyway. But that would have shifted the election to no question territory. Trump would have won re-election. But they didn't know because they only watched CNN or MSNBC. So we can sit in our houses together and we can say the media needs to change. But here's the truth. The media's not going to change. They're not. The media believes what they believe. They are firmly locked into their stances. They've been infected by communists, and it is what it is. So it's not the media that needs to change. It's us. It's us. We need to go from being Trump supporters, Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, and we need to become activists. We need to become activists. So there's all these protests going on. There's all these events. There's one in Pennsylvania happening. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it real quick, I'm going to bail on it. There it is. Today, 11:25 at 12:30 p.m. So this will probably be out by the time this is started. But if you live in Pennsylvania, specifically if you live in Gettysburg, head on out to this. It's at the Wyndham Gettysburg Hotel, 95 Presidential Circle. It's a protest. We need to start going to these things. Being as active as you can, because we need to make sure that normal people wake up to what's going on, and they are not going to get honest news from the mainstream media. It is never going to happen. And if we sit here and we hope it happens, it is not. It's not going to happen. People need to be woken up. And you can't, the thing is, like, I get mad at low information voters, okay? I get mad at them. Because it's their fault, that we're in much of the state that we're in, right? Because they choose to be willfully ignorant. They live their lives that way. But this is the majority of the country, guys. This is the majority of the country. So we need to do our part to make sure that these folks know the truth. If we refuse to share the truth, if we refuse to speak on the truth, if we refuse to be honest, then we cheat those we love out of knowing the truth because they're not going to get it from the mainstream media. So as you meet with your family over Thanksgiving, many people are going to tell you, don't talk about politics. And I would agree with that. Don't initiate the conversation because this is not the time. Now, the time will come, and you need to not be afraid to talk and engage with your friends and family about politics. Because again, we are the ones who are going to wake these people up. But if you get provoked, be able to stand your ground. And what I mean by that is do a little research beyond, do a little put a little extra effort into researching topics so that you can be ready to go. When you are on Facebook and you share something and one of your friends or family comes back at you and they say something like, there's no evidence, be ready to present evidence to these people because it's the only way that we are going to turn them. These people need to be woken up. They will be resistant to it at first, but they need to see the truth. And if they trust you and they love you and they know you're going to speak the truth, give them the truth. You're not going to win everybody over. But we need to be honest because there are a lot of drones out there, man. And a lot of people we know and love have become bots and drones because they only watch CNN. They trust CNN. They've trusted CNN their whole lives. Why would they change their mind? So it's what we have to do. Now, here's the thing. We do have some good people fighting the good fight for us right now. Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, you've got the Trump legal team. They're all out there and they're fighting the good fight. And I hope they do. I hope they continue to fight. A lot of people are saying President Trump is done. And I would say that his chances of winning this are thin. Very thin. But I'm glad that he is continuing to fight. And I have to admit, he seems like someone who has a plan. I don't know what it is, but he just does. So we'll see. We'll see this all play out, and we'll be here for it. And when Sidney Powell files her lawsuit, I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to see what we have here. Now, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, and maybe even President Trump himself are headed to Pennsylvania. And they're going there to meet with the legislatures. I think the state Senate has called they're saying it's an informal meeting now, but whatever it is, they're calling it, and they're going to have a chance to talk through some things. But what happens if nothing happens? What happens if half of America has seen this evidence, or at least half of America, so a fourth of America, has seen all of this evidence and believes what they believe? I mean, how do you bring those people back? Now the system has let them down. It just pushed through this election that was obviously, at the very least, poorly run. We didn't take our time to vet this, and we should. Why not? Why wouldn't we take our time to vet this? We have time. The time is built in. The system provides us with the time. It's not a lot of time, but it provides us with time. We should take that time and investigate. Again, I said it multiple times. There's no reason not to do a full audit. There needs to be an audit. At the very least, because an audit would at least instill confidence in the American people that their election was not stolen from them. That is what we need. We need that confidence because we cannot continue forth as a country with these restrictive lockdowns, with these tyrannical governors who are running these states so poorly, and with the idea and the knowledge that our elections are corrupt and we never can trust who wins. And Georgia, in their infinite wisdom, is continuing this mail-in ballot sham into this runoff election. And I bet they use the Dominion voting systems as well. That is a crime. If Republicans do not stand up and speak out against this, and these two senators lose because of it, or I shouldn't say these two senators, these two candidates lose because of it, that is a travesty. And if I lived in Georgia, I would be willing to, I'm going to tell you right now, go to extreme measures to make sure that this is never done again. I would vote every Republican out of office who is not pushed against this. They need to be doing everything they can. I will say this. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, so I apologize. there is a growing group of people who are going to sit out this runoff election because they are furious with Republicans. Now, I would suggest you do not do that. Please go vote in this runoff. Do not sit this out. We can take this fight up after the runoff, but we need to make sure that the radical left does not take the Senate. That is gravely important. So go and vote in this runoff, get these 2 Republicans into the Senate, and then we will spend the next 2 years, specifically on this show, but even outside of this show, being activists. We will speak out against our lame party that doesn't do anything. They just sit there. They don't do anything. They complain, but they don't do anything. And we're going to start holding their feet to the fire and making sure that they do stuff. You want to represent the people? Then you act like a representative to the people. Don't just sit there and complain. You get out and you do something about it. We feel like this election was stolen from us, and they think they can just sit back and let it all blow over. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, guys. Surprise. They are sitting back waiting for the whole thing to blow over so that they can move on because they know the American people are too dumb or too lazy to care once all of this stuff ends. And we need to show them that we are not lazy and we do care. And the way we can do that is by getting out, speaking out, doing what we have to do to make sure that our representatives are doing their job and representing us, the American people. If a special prosecutor doesn't get brought in to investigate Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and the scandal that broke before the election took place, that is a travesty. If Michael Flynn isn't pardoned, that is a travesty. If Julian Assange and Snowden aren't pardoned, that is a tragedy. Travesty. We need to pardon Assange. Why haven't we? Everybody, the Democrats they loved Assange when Bush was president. They loved WikiLeaks. Now they hate him because of the Hillary Clinton emails. And if you really want to stick it to the left, pardon Assange. But not only that, forget all that. We need to stand up as a people. And if the Republicans aren't going to do the will of us, or the will of the people, then we need to form a new party. And I've seen that floated around. And why not? People have done it before. We need to do it. America first. America first. That is paramount that the Republicans continue with that philosophy and that mentality. America first. I don't care what's happening in Germany or England or France. I don't care. I care about what's happening here in America. And you're about to see a globalist takeover of the United States. It is happening. Joe Biden is not hiding it. That is the plan. Look at the crooks and cronies that he is putting on his cabinet. My gosh, career politicians. And if there isn't a description that, of a person that is worse than career politician, it might just be career criminal. That's it. Everything, career politician is disgusting. It is gross. It means that you are a crook and a crony and you have most likely taken advantage of the taxpayer for your gain. And we know that many of these folks have. John Kerry, are you kidding me? And John Kerry's going to be the climate czar? What in the hell does John Kerry know about the climate? I'm not even convinced John Kerry knows how to control the climate in his $million house. His mansion, the Heinz mansion. I'm not convinced he even knows how to do that. John Kerry knows nothing of the climate. He just wants a government paycheck. He wants to get his little fingers in there so that he can manipulate things for his gain. John Kerry probably has a lot of investments in green companies. And by putting him as the climate czar, he'll now have carte blanche to put us back in the Paris Climate Accords, to put us back into these agreements that don't benefit the American people, but do benefit the investors in these green companies. It's always about the money. It's never about anything else. If you think Democrats care about you or the climate, you're wrong. They care about money and they care about power. Those are the two things Democrats care about more than anything. And the funny thing is they're screaming at Republicans. They're screaming at Trump supporters right now. Oh, you guys are acting so out of sorts, as if they wouldn't be acting the same exact way if Trump had won re-election. They'd be acting worse. They'd be burning down cities. You know how I know? Because all those businesses boarded up their windows. You know why they did that? They weren't afraid of Trump supporters. They were afraid of you. They were afraid of Democrats. They were afraid of Antifa. They were afraid of the militant arm of the Democrat Party. That's what they were afraid of. But at least they know how to be activists. At least they know how to go out there and demand change. At least they can manipulate their leaders into doing their will. They vote in people who agree with them. I will give the left, the communists, one thing. They know how to inspire change, and they know how to bring in new blood that believes what they believe. Even if it is absolute evil and terrible and criminal, they at least know how to do it. We Republicans, we know how to sit down, put our sweatpants on, get fat, and watch TV. That's what we know. And I'm sick of it. We need to start being active. We need to start being engaged. And we need to start helping those around us see the light, because they're not going to get it from the mainstream media. I can't believe that. 9% of people said that they wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden if they knew about the Hunter Biden scandal. How did they not know about the Hunter Biden scandal? That's so disgusting. I'm very excited to see what the Trump legal team puts out today. And I'm very excited to see where we go forward. I'm still holding out hope, as crazy as it is, that Trump might be able to pull this out. But, and the country needs it. We really need it. We need Trump to be able to pull this out. Because if he doesn't, we're in a lot of trouble, man. Joe Biden's already talking about making illegal immigrants citizens. He's already talking about re-entering the Paris Climate Accords and these trade deals. So jobs are just going to move over to Mexico again, or China, because why wouldn't they? He's going to be soft on China because he loves China. He makes money from China. Why wouldn't he be? This is outrageous. This is outrageous. And you think unity. You're calling for unity now after you spent the last 4 years, accusing President Trump of being a Russian asset, trying to impeach him, calling his supporters crooks and creeps and fat and whatever else he said about him. It's insane. There will be no unity. I can promise you that. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm sorry I went on a rant there. I apologize. I know I do that sometimes. I am sorry. But I do hope you spend time with your family. I do hope you are able to enjoy everything that Thanksgiving is and be thankful for what you have in your life and what we have in our lives. And let's just be thankful for one another, too. I'm thankful for every listener of this show. I really appreciated the support that we've been getting. I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful that other Americans, other patriots out there, aren't going to just sit back and let this happen. So I'm thankful for that as well. I want to thank everybody for listening. I hope you have a great one, and we might do a show on Friday. We might not. If not, I hope you have a great weekend. And if we do, we'll see you guys then.